Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Vidane TV. It is NEPs night in Nashville, y'all. Welcome to Nashville, y'all 65, brought to you by Marhefka Motorsports, powered by Milk. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here live, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all over the internet. We're bringing you the NEP Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series, race number 10. Taking a quick look at the starting grid. Well, before we even get there, showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the booth. AA Ron right next to me in the virtual booth. Aaron Creed, how we doing tonight?
Ready to party on the concrete here.
I think that makes one of just about everybody at this track. Listening to a lot of these drivers kind of struggling with the handling of the car here. A little bit of a tight setup. It's a super speedway, yes. But you're off the throttle quite a bit around here, as you can see. Everybody lined up 2x2, getting ready to get down to the backstretch. Taking a look at the starting grid. Steve Dadio's Racing 99 car up on the pole. Evan Bollier there in a second.
Row number 2, it's your new point leader after last weekend, Kenny Kibbe, starting in third, and a great qualifying run for Jason Ricker.
Reagan Parent now second in points, 9 points back, and someone's got a birthday. I wonder too. Birthday boy John Peters, reigning defending 3-time series champ. He's going to start in 6th.
And a defending winner too after last week. Dale Glessner starting 7th, Brent Roy 8th, and I guess we'll continue to go down here as we get ready to go green. Ryan Messer starting 9th, Devin Marhefka starting 10th. There's Brandon Marhefka in 13th. There'll be a couple drivers looking to get going. Looks like we got one more pace lap to go to kind of run this down.
You see Zane Farrell 14th, like you said, matching his car number. Bobby Shipp there in the 04 car, going to be starting P15. Charles Lewandowski starting in 16th.
Yeah, and there we see Brandon Newhouse, Ryan Libby, Cody LeBlanc, Keith Lord, Kyle Casagrande, Corey Casagrande making up the same row, and then we see rounding out the top 24, Ryan Salvatore and Scott McDonald, but we got even more cars on the grid to this evening. Total of 28.
Yeah, how about that? Brian Shipp, Dylan Kopech, Jared Adams, and Jeff Brown rounding out the fields here. 28 cars making a start at Nashville Super Speedway. Race number 10 here this season. I'm excited. We got some upgrades here at Vidane HQ. Pushing the limits a little bit of the new hardware here, so if we do get a little bit of a hiccup, got to apologize for it. But hey, I want to see what this machine can do. 65 laps on the docket here for Nashville Super Speedway. Tight points battle up front. John Peters coming home with a win last week, and that puts everybody in this field on notice. We know John Peters, 3-time reigning defending series champion, has had himself a late season, hasn't really found a victory lane up until last week. Going to be interesting to see who comes home with that trophy here tonight. Pace car down and away, getting ready to take that green flag. Barney up in the flag stand says, go, go, go. It's race day in America here for the NEP iRacing Series.
And we work into turn 1 here on this 1 1/3 mile, 65 laps. Not going to be too long of a race, but right now Daddio and Bollier are even right now coming out of turn 2, and the field continues to ride. It looks like a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing going on, and the top 2, none of them are given an inch, and it looks like Daddio finally is going to break out into the lead. Kenny Kibbe files into 3rd. He's had a lot of podium runs this season, and he's looking for another one as he pulls low on Evan Bollier for 2nd. We got big trouble in back.
Big troubles for the 14 car. Well, he actually called that. He said he was going to wreck tonight. Not a big fan of this racetrack. Struggled with the handling of that car. And, well, now it looks like he's got himself a modified. Looking at the front of that number 14 car. We'll take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. It looked like a hard hit in that safer barrier on the outside. So we will take a look at it here and see what went down. You can see a little side-by-side action. Almost 3 wide, kind of drifts up the track there, and there you see, up into the catch fence goes the 14 car. Debris flying all over the racetrack. Going to take a lap or 2 under caution, I think, to clean all that stuff up. But able to grab a gear, keep on rolling. But man, oh man, that car is broken.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like too many other cars were involved. There's race sponsor Brandon Marhefka. He was one of them. But Zane Farrell, if he thinks he was going to wreck, why not wreck big, right? And that was that's kind of the tale of the story right there. And him and Brandon Marhefka still getting some extracurricular activity there going on. I don't know if there was a disagreement on what happened there on that second lap of the race, but it's going to be a long rest of the distance for both of those drivers.
100%. Couple of drivers coming down pit road. Keith Lord, Brandon Marhefka, Cody LeBlanc, Corey Casagrande, and Jeff Brown. Zane Farrell looks like he's parked that thing down in the garage area. May very well be Dunsky here for the evening. And you can see Daddio still up front. Evan Bollier there as well. Kenny Kibbe, Jason Ricker, and John Peters rounding out the top 5 so far.
Yeah, we got some drivers in the field with some life news here. I think Stephen Daddio, he in the last week found out he's going to be a dad.
Hey,
I guess you could say.
Congratulations, and, that's awesome.
And Keith Lord, I believe he's right now in North Carolina. So it's a lot going on with our folks in the NEP garage, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. We've had a lot of great things go on in the off season. We saw Zane Farrell get married. We had John Peters with the GNG's gift and his little announcement about kind of stepping away from the real race car. So a lot going on among the NEP competitors. Corey Casagrande's got that new house he's building, and wow, everyone's got a lot of things going on. Even though the NEP racing season was kind of off for a while, and now the regular racing season is just getting going again. So a lot to kind of talk about here, even though we're under yellow.
100%. Got to give a shout out to, speaking of life events, my buddy Declan. Going to be a grandpa. Makes me feel old. Known that guy for like 2 decades now at this point. And man, it's pretty cool to see stuff like that happen. Very happy for you. And I myself, I'm kind of a new uncle. My niece has just turned 1 a few months ago. So really cool, man. It's really cool to kind of experience those life events and kind of surround yourself with good people and good vibes, good positivity. We're getting ready to go green flag racing once again. We're lined up 2x2 all the way through. There goes the pace car. Tricky pit road entrance, trickier pit road exit. That's going to be something to keep an eye on later on tonight. These guys hoping for yellow flag, caution flags. But hey, there you go. Green flag flies once again. Lap number 5 underway.
Bringing him down slowly there for that restart. Stephen Daddio gets out up front, and I'm going to live vicariously through all these race cars on the track and announce that I am going to be enjoying this evening and back next week for our next event. But right now, Stephen Daddio leading the way, but Evan Bollier trying to maybe a little bit put it on the block there on Kenny Kibbe early on as they battle for second spot. Kenny Kibbe now looking to the outside, and that's where you got to watch out. We saw trouble for Zane Farrell earlier, kind of drifting up. You kind of drift up there in that turd 4. Maybe not a lot of grip on this concrete surface. You see a lot of tire marks, tire wear, and everything on the surface that you can more easily see than on the asphalt. But we're riding with John Peters right now, running in 5th, and we saw him grab that first win of the season finally last week. And now he's going to try to go for 2 consecutive. I don't think we've seen a consecutive winner yet this season.
And you can see just how tough it is to race around this racetrack. Sawing on the wheel back and forth on the straightaways there. And listen to how long he's off the throttle here. Super Speedway in the name, yes, not quite. It's almost like a big Martinsville. One of the comparisons I heard earlier on in practice with some of these NEP drivers. So definitely takes a lot to get around this racetrack. And John Peters is one of the names that came up in practice. It said this is his style of racetrack. So it's going to be fun to watch that 09 car.
Boy, that could be trouble for the rest. But yeah, Nashville, with that Nashville sun beating down, it could make for a slippery race course. As now we see Kenny Kibbe is working his way below Jason Ricker. Actually, I think that was Ricker that pulled to the high side of Kibbe for 3rd spot. Kibbe's going to keep the spot for now. But there you see them kind of bunching up there behind Kibbe with Ricker, Peters, Brent Roy, Regan Parent, Ryan Messer. Bunch of them all there, right there in a gaggle. And there's Devin Marhefka pulling low to looks like he's going to try to take 8th from Ryan Messer, and Dale Glessner is going to try to follow through as well.
Just outside the top 10, you can see that 42 car of Matt Chinoski holding on to it right up with the pack. Everybody's still pretty much within contact of this lead pack. There's a good shot of Chalu and Austin Belkey there in the 24 car. Brandon Newhouse in that number 3, kind of a YRD Oreo paint scheme. I really like that paint scheme. I'm a big fan of Oreos. Always cool to see. Kyle Casagrande there as well. Ryan Libby uncharacteristically towards the back, running in 16th. Dylan Kopech back here in 17th. Actually gained 9 spots so far in that 16 car. So Dylan Kopech on the move.
Yeah, definitely. Kopech was off last week. Maybe needed that breather, as we know that he had his share of problems there in a couple races that led up to last weekend. So kind of regrouped and running in the 17th spot, kind of maintaining position right now. And there you see further back Corey Casagrande. He pitted earlier. He is running 18th. And then we see Brian Shipp currently was holding down the top 20 spot, now running in 21st with Keith Lord trying to keep pace as well.
You see just a little bit of a connection issue there for the 17 of Keith Lord. He called it earlier on in practice. Just moved down to North Carolina, racing on Wi-Fi here tonight. So told everybody to kind of give him a little bit of room. He's going to give everybody else a little bit of room. And wanted to come out and run the Nashville Super Speedway race here, try and get a little bit of points added to the old total there. But take a look at this guy, Daddio up in front, 0.6 of a second lead over Bollier in second.
Yes, Daddy has really been smooth so far this evening, and we see. I don't believe he has not won yet. He's claimed this was his second pole that he claimed, and but 5 top 5s so far this season as he sits 4th in points. Definitely looking to gain some more ground and get another win in NEP action. I believe he had a win last season. I think it was at Homestead. So. Stephen Daddio currently the car to beat, as we see a good pack of cars there. I was going to say about mid-pack, but that's inside the top 10. Jason Ricker really slipping back after running in the top 5 earlier. Devin Marhefka, Ryan Messer, Matt Shinosky all going low to try to get by, and looks like they're all going to be successful at it.
Got multiple different groups here at Nashville Super Speedway. The bottom seems to be the quickest all the way around here, and we may see that top line come in. I'm not 100% sure as the rubber gets laid down. A little bit of puff of smoke there, it looked like, from the 26 machine. Everybody keeps it going down and away. The 22 car taking a peek down low on Reagan Parent to see if he can get that spot and move himself just a little bit closer to that top 5.
Yeah, a lot of jockeying for position going on right now, and Devin Marhefka definitely having one of his best runs of the season so far. We saw him have a couple decent runs. He's only run kind of a part-time schedule this season, but he does have 1 top 5 to his credit. So Marhefka's going to try to add to that here as we continue on, and we're already 15 laps into this one, and are nearing about a quarter way into this event, and we got some sliding around there. It looked like one car went low. I don't know if that was a car that was just going through the speed shot there or getting lapped, or actually it looks like Cody LeBlanc has some damage on the 7NH, so not sure what ended up happening there, but the green flag stays out, and right now he's going to lose a lap, and a tough break for the New Hampshire driver.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened to the 7NH car, but you can see limping that car around, trying to get down to pit road to get that thing worked on here, working lap number 1665 on the docket here tonight, and not done racing here this evening with these NEP drivers. Big time racing coming up this weekend, starting tomorrow night, 5 o'clock. The NEP drivers have 4 teams entered in the iRacing 24 Hours at Daytona. That's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. We're not doing it live here on Verdane TV, but we got something cool working on. These NEP drivers getting some things crossed up and getting everything lined up to get some racing coverage of that 24-hour race at Daytona tomorrow night into Saturday. Be sure to shoot on over to the NEP iRacing Facebook page, as well as NEP iRacing on Twitter. You'll find out how you can follow all the NEP drivers, all 4 teams here in that 24-hour race. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Man, it's I think I've run I entered one of those 24-hour races, and I think I made it in about 45 minutes. And myself and my teammate at the time, Brian Bliss, we got ourselves disqualified pretty quickly. So definitely, it's all order for these drivers. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch those guys.
Oh, I bet that'd be fun, and you never know. I might, with the weekend kind of open for me, you never know. I might be tuning in for some of that too to see what's going on. Keep tabs on the NEP drivers. But right now, we got a lot going on at Nashville Super Speedway as John Peters is moving in on Evan Bollier for the third position. As Kenny Kibbe he kind of drifted back a little bit, but now he has taken the second spot and has pulled away. Right now, Daddy-O's enjoying a 1.5 lead, but now that Kibbe's got some clean racetrack, we'll have to see how that works out, as we've got a good battle for sixth position going on here. Regan Parent still battling with Devin Marhefka. Parent held the points lead for quite a few races this year, and still right there within striking distance, 9 points behind Kenny Kibbe for the top spot in the standings. And right now, it's Kibbe that's the one to beat, as John Peters now moves below Evan Bollier, and it looks like he's going to take third. Brent Roy is going to try to follow through for fourth. Roy's a two-time winner this season, once with Brian Messer behind the wheel, but to his credit as a sub, Brent Roy has 2 wins on his score sheet, and he currently sits 5th in points. So a lot going on. Brent Roy's actually got like a #1 power ranking I can see from the standings. He's been the hottest in most recent races. So there's Ryan Messer. We were just talking about him, won it on board of Brent Roy's car a couple weeks back, and now he's battling for the 8th spot with Dale Plessner. Ryan actually had a podium finish last week in Vegas, so he's got a lot of momentum on his side as well.
Charles Lewandowski up into the outside wall. Little puff of smoke, but it looks like everything's A-OK for that 01 car. The 42, Shanoski stuck on the outside, it looks like, dropping back just a little bit, kind of right around where he qualified in that 12th position, but trying to get down on the bottom side of the racetrack. There's that 46 car of Ryan Libby moving up the field slowly but surely. It looks like he's gained about 6 spots on the evening here so far, but throughout the first 23 laps, biggest mover going to be that 16 car of Dylan Kopech. He's up 10 spots so far tonight.
Yeah, he's been able to make up some ground here pretty quickly. He's catching this big pack of cars, and you saw Matt Shanoski stuck there on the outside. Charles Lewandowski, he said he scraped the wall, but I think it made him faster. He's in the top 10 now in the number 01. So having a great run so far early on here at Nashville Super Speedway. 23 laps out of 65 complete. And right now we remain under green after that big wreck that happened on lap number 2. We're continuing on. We'll see how the pit strategy is going to work. He said that pit entrance is a bit tricky. Will drivers come in before halfway to make a pit stop? Will they try to stretch it on just one pit stop? It'll be interesting to see what happens as Evan Bollier continues to slide back a bit, as now Regan Parent is going to work his way into the top 5.
And you can see that 22 car Marhefka going to try and follow Parent down and through. Almost looked like Bollier was going to try a crossover there, not quite tucked into the tire tracks of that 17 car, crossing the stripe for lap number 25. Getting an opportunity here to do a little bit of that homework, see where he's quick, where he's losing time, and you can see he in the entry loses a little bit of time, but towards the middle he's really able to close that gap, get right back up to that back bumper, and you can see he's able to utilize that traffic just a little bit. But as soon as you get down into the corner entry, boom, that 22 car of Marhefka is in fact there. So the 56 is going to tuck up on the bumper of the 22 car, follow him around for a lap or 2.
Yeah, I feel like Bollier's kind of just holding tight right now, waiting for that first pit stop and trying to figure out what adjustments to make to be faster on the remainder of this event. And I'm sure there's quite a few other drivers that are thinking the same thing. Right now, Kibbe's got his lead down to less than a second on Daddy-O, as you see Austin Belke. Haven't really talked about him much. Currently runs mid-pack in the number 24. Has had some good runs this season, and currently sits in 12th in the points with a couple top 5s. But right now, up front, Daddy-O is leading the way, but there in his rearview mirror, though, he can see that number 4 getting closer and closer. Kenny Kibbe riding in second, only about a second behind.
We're right on board with Kibbe there in the second position. You can see that that back bumper getting a little bit bigger in that windshield. You can see we're starting to come up on a little bit of lap traffic up there as well. So that's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on there as Daddy-O comes down and around. And we'll see if he's able to get through that lap traffic. We'll see if Kenny Kibbe might be able to use that as a pick. John Peters there in behind, running in third. Brent Roy, Regan Parent running in the top 5 currently.
Yeah, good run for Reagan Parent right now. He's been steadily and gradually but steadily moving his way up. As we see Evan Boyer's fighting back now with for that 6th spot with Devin Marhefka. Dale Glessner kind of watching there in the number 10, riding in 8th spot, and looking to finish this one off pretty good. And Glessner currently 13th in points with a couple top 5s, but sometimes it seems like he ends up with finishes that aren't really showing the run that he's actually had. So right now we got 24 cars still on the lead lap as we remain under green. Jeff Brown, I know, is he's in danger of going a lap down. So we'll see what continues to happen here as we continue to near halfway. Devin Marhefka's filed there in the 7th, while Dale Glessner rides in 8th. We got a couple Pennsylvania drivers there doing their thing. As right now up front, though, it's the state of Connecticut with Stephen Daddio leading the state of Michigan with Kenny Kibbe. Now it's down to about 0.8 seconds over number 09, John Peters. And we see that interval has how it's progressed here in recent laps, as we see Kibbe running about a 10th faster on average each lap. So a lot of laps to go here, but Daddio could be in a little bit of trouble here, but you never know. He could be kind of cooling down those tires a little bit, running a little more of a conservative pace. But remains to be seen what happens as they're going to catch. See what, I think this is Jeff Brown that they're catching up to in the number 27 to put him a lap down. As the laps continue to click off, I think next time by, we are going to be completing the halfway.
Yeah, and you can see just how consistent Kibbe is in that 4 car. Both drivers very consistent up in the top 2 positions, and they're really close as far as lap times, within just a couple of hundredths of a second. But there you can see the gap all the way down to less than half a second. Good corner there for Kibbe. Drops that lead down to 0.4 of a second. Now he's got a little bit of drafting help. He's able to sniff the draft off the back bumper of that 99 car. And we made mention, it is a super speedway here at Nashville. Yes, indeed it is. But it's almost like a big Martinsville. Really hard off the throttle, hard on the braking, into the corners, coming off the corners. You really have to feather the throttle, getting back up to it. But when you do get down on those straightaways, that drafting help is an absolute, helps a ton. And you can see just how much he's able to utilize that. Really start to close in. He's down to less than 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, he's really closed in now as we continue to, we're past halfway now as Kenny Kibbe is, within a couple car lengths. And Stephen Daddio is going to have to kind of drive maybe a little defensively here very shortly as another driver. Look at that camera angle on the second place car, Kenny Kibbe right here, as you see that right front rotating here through the corner. He's able to work his way through these corners very well, as you see him continue to close down on Stephen Daddio. Evan Boyer, the first taker on pit road. We saw him slipping back a little bit earlier, and now we're going to have some green flag pit stops as it looks. With it being a shorter track, getting around this circuit a little faster in a little less time than some other speedways. Some of those drivers are hoping that they don't get caught a lap down if there's a yellow that comes out. Right now we're remaining green, though. Reagan Parent coming down pit road. A lot going on all over this speedway.
And this is going to really start to force the hand of these leaders. You do not want to take too much time out on track while you've got other guys out there with fresher tires. So we'll see when these leaders decide to come down pit road, or if they're going to try and wait for a caution. Kibbe is not, Peters is not. Both drivers down on pit road. Brent Roy going to follow him down there as well. And you can see just how tricky that pit road entrance is getting around this racetrack. Glessner moves up to second. Marhefka up to third. Ryan Messer up in the top 5. Green flag pit stops underway.
Yeah, a lot going on here, and Stephen Daddio staying out that extra amount of time. I don't know if that strategy, we'll have to see if that works out, because obviously he's going to lose time on some older tires as some of the other competitors get a couple laps in here on newer tires. But here he comes down pit road, the leader, going to make his way down. Dale Glessner slides a little bit there coming down pit road. As we said, it was a tricky pit road to get down. But there you see some of the early front runners, Kenny Kibbe, John Peters, Brent Roy, all coming back out onto the racetrack. Ryan Libby currently the leader as he has stayed out over Austin Belke, Charles Lewandowski, Matt Shinosky, and Brandon Uhouse. It's all going to shuffle around here pretty soon. Libby currently a lap ahead of Kenny Kibbe. I don't know how long that's going to last with Kibbe getting back up to speed here. Libby looks like he might slow to get ready to come down pit road. No, he's going to stay out one more lap, and Kibbe's going to unlap himself. So good shape for the 4 of Kenny Kibbe. We'll also have to see how he comes back around here and see where he is in relation to Stephen Daddio. Is trying to see if is that Daddio right there or is that someone else. My eyes are not we're not able to see that. I should put on my glasses right here, but yes, that's Stephen Daddio. He's going to come back out of the pits behind Kenny Kibbe. So track position, that's going to be interesting as the laps as we reach the closing stages of this race shortly.
And you can see just how much better those tires feel on those race cars. The 99 able to go down and around the 4 car as well, able to unlap themselves around Libby in that 46 car. At this point, I think Libby may very well be trying to stay out, hoping for a caution to see if he can maybe trap a couple of these drivers a lap down and just see how long he can kind of milk this out, no pun intended for tonight's sponsor, Marhefka Motorsports. But you can see he goes past the start of that entrance of pit road one more time, crosses the stripe here to start lap number 40. It's going to be a wonder to see how long he can stay out. You can see Belke still out on track, Lewandowski as well up in the top 5. How about Dylan Kopech up there? There's John Peters with fresher tires getting down and around, as is Evan Bollier, the first driver to come down and get those fresh tires. But man, 22 spots gained right now for Dylan Kopech in that 16 car. Brandon Uhouse still out on track on old tires. Our Sal TV's very own Ryan Salvatore, he's out there on old tires. Jared Adams, Scott McDonald, they're there as well. And the first driver that has in fact come down and gotten pit tires on pit road is Kenny Kibbe, and he's got Steve Daddio right in behind him. So 25 laps to go here, 8 cars out on track that still have to come down and make a pit stop. And we'll see what goes down if we do in fact get a caution flag late in the race.
Yeah, talk about stretching it is because of the green flag pit stops. Yeah, Libby's still being credited with the lead with about a second lead on Austin Belke and Charles Lewandowski. Interesting strategy going on right here. Dylan Kopech, Brandon Uhouse, Ryan Salvatore, Jared Adams, and Scott McDonald currently remain on the racetrack, yet to pit with 24 laps to go. But once again, you see how different it is between fresh tires and older tires. John Peters unlaps himself. Kind of a strategy where you're hoping, if you're one of those drivers that hasn't pitted yet, you're hoping for a yellow, because right now, Evan Bollier unlaps himself, but he's running 13th, so there's only 13 cars on the lead lap. Competitors are that are caught a lap down. If there were a yellow, that's not going to be in their favor. But we see a few that are kind of giving up on that strategy and coming down for some new sneakers. As Ryan Salvatore's one of them in the number 12. He finally comes down. Looking like this is going to be only a 1 pit stop race for these competitors, the way it looks right now. But you never know when if there's a late yellow, folks might want to come down and give up that track position and see what they can do. But right now, top 7 once again still have not pitted. 8th place is Kenny Kibbe, first among the drivers that has pitted. Then it's Stephen Daddio and Brent Roy. So Ryan Libby really using that high side now.
Yeah, drifting all the way up to that outside safer barrier in that 46 car. At this point, trying to stay out as long as he can if we do, in fact, get a late race caution. If he's able to stay out for another 10, maybe 15 laps or so, may very well have the entire field come down, take that pit stop, and he'll be able to hold on to that track position. So a little bit of a gamble here in Nashville tonight, but man, it may pay off in spades for Libby.
Definitely might pay off. We'll have to see what goes on here as the laps continue to wind down. I don't know. I don't think you can make it all 65 laps in this event. But track position might be key as it remains green. If it remains green, right now he's a good 22 seconds ahead of Kenny Kibbe at the moment with 21 laps to go. So Kibbe would have to make up the second lap. But I really don't think that's possible. Charles Lewandowski coming down pit road now was running in the 5th spot. in the 01. Jeff Brown is on pit road in the number 27. But once again, there's Ryan Libby getting some TV time up front in the number 46 machine. We've seen him have a few good runs this year, a few bad endings, unfortunately, for the 46 as well. But right now, he's doing his thing in the number 46. But as you can see from the scoring, the lap time's way off, 32.66, while Kenny Kibbe runs a 31.5. So Kibbe is gaining about a little more than a second a lap at the moment.
Yeah, he'll definitely be able to reel in the leaders at this point, and I think the only thing these guys up in the top six drivers still have not come down pit road. Libby, Belke, Kopech, Newhouse, Adams, and McDonald. Those guys are waiting for a late race caution here at this point, and they're hoping that they aren't a caution. They don't want to be the ones to bring out the yellow flag. But with 18 laps to go here, you can see the 46 really starting to struggle with the handling of that car, getting into the corner, starting to slide just a little bit. Oh, contact! Keith Lord into the back bumper of our leader. The 46 car spins around, caution flag flies. 18 laps to go. That is huge.
Yeah, Ryan Libby was probably hoping for a caution, but he didn't probably want to be the cause of it. But there you saw how quickly some of those competitors on fresh rubber are able to reel in on Ryan Libby, and it kind of just looked like it just got stacked up right there.
And that's a tough situation right there, because we did make mention before the race here, before we took that green flag. Keith Lord struggling with the internet connection, racing on Wi-Fi here tonight after moving down to North Carolina. So you can see he's got fresh tires. He really closes up onto the back bumper of the 46 car. Boom. He blinks out. His connection's gone. He has no idea where he is. All of a sudden, he comes back, and he's right at the back bumper of the 46 with Ryan Messer right in behind. So really nowhere to go for Keith Lord. Definitely a tough break for Libby in that 46 car. Didn't want to be the caution, but that's going to bring the caution flag out. That's going to change things up. Belke's going to come down pit road. Kopech, all these guys going to get an opportunity to come down, get some service, get some tires. There you see Libby in the 46 car, still in fourth, so still has a shot at this one. What's going to be a wonder is if everybody else that's already come down pit road, if they're going to come down, and well, you know what? I think that pretty much answers it. It looks like everybody's coming down pit road.
Yeah, everyone coming down, and yeah, that seemed to work out for some of those drivers that stayed out then, because they're going to be right there with the earlier front runners. So gaining some track position now that the yellow flag is out is going to work out for some competitors like Austin Belke, Matt Shinosky, Brandon Newhouse. So actually, Shinosky, I think, stayed out. I don't know. Did Belke stay out once again in the 24? Now there he is.
Just leaving the exit of pit road. Timing and scoring a little bit wonky with this pit road here. We may mention tricky pit entrance as well as pit entrance, exit rather. But there you see Ryan Libby, after being involved in that caution, gains a spot on pit road, going to restart third. Brandon Newhouse there in fourth. Dylan Kopech, solid run up in the top five. So that may very well have not only been the call of the race, may very well have been the call of the season there, staying out, stretching those tires as long as they could, and they were able to stay out long enough for everybody else's tires to wear enough to where they wanted to come down pit road as well. You see Shinosky in the 42 car coming back down pit road. Bobby Ship, Kyle Casagrande, Brian Ship all down to there once again as well. But looks like we're going to get it all sorted out. Austin Belke going to be on top. Ryan Libby, Brandon Newhouse, Dylan Kopech, Kenny Kibbe, the top five as they run.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We're going to have less than 15 laps to go. This race has just flown by, hasn't it? Right now, Libby still going to be on the front row there, despite that mishap that brought out the yellow after pit stops have kind of sequenced here. We're going to see if that row number 3, when they do double up the next time by, Kenny Kibbe and Stephen Daddio, if they can make their way back to the front. There's still a lot to be decided here. And, wow, we're going to see a pretty good run down to the finish here, I think. A lot to go.
Yeah, and you can see right now Austin Belke is the leader. There you see him in the red and black number 24 car. Everybody else up in front of him on the tail end of the lead lap. I don't believe they came down pit road. So that's going to be something else to keep an eye on here as well. With that strategy working out, well, we take a peek. It does look like everybody, in fact, did come down pit road. So once we get that one to go, we'll see how these drivers line up. There's the one to go, and it looks like everybody's going to get down and around the pace car and get lined up once again. So Belky going to restart up in the front. He's going to have Libby on his outside.
In for a really good show here when we go back to green. And wow, I'm looking forward to this here. Seeing the field bunch back up after that very long green flag run. It's probably one of the longer green flag runs we've seen in recent weeks in the NEP. So good job by everyone keeping their cars clean and still doing some intense racing for position for sure. So right now we're working the backstretch. Austin Belky and Ryan Libby will be the front row with Brandon Uhouse and Dylan Kopech and row number 2. A lot of different names there in the top 10 than we saw earlier. And some names that we're thinking might work their way back up there, perhaps. John Peters, Brent Roy, currently way back in 14th and 15th. Evan Boyer in 16th. Devin Marhefka, 19th. But with the wave around and everything, it looks like we might have most cars on the lead lap. We'll be waiting to see the intervals here when we go back to green. I think we're going to get the 1 lap to go signal until we're back racing.
Yeah, a little bit of an extended caution here as we get the running order sorted out here. Got to give a shout out to everybody watching at home on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, all over the place. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff, all the social media stuff. We're over on Twitter. We're over on TikTok as well. Let your friends and family know that you're watching a little bit of entertaining iRacing action here because it's NEPs night in Nashville, baby. Nashville Super Speedway, the home of this 65-lapper. Marhefka Motorsports, the sponsor here tonight, powered by Milk. Got to give a special shout out to everybody over in True Fiction RP watching the race up at Beaker's Garage in Politos Bay. And for those that don't know what the heck I'm talking about, that's a little Grand Theft Auto action going on. Hey, if you've got it installed on your computer, shoot on over to truefictionrp.com. Check it out. Pretty cool stuff. And hey, it's got to be halfway decent because they watch NEP every single week over there at Beaker's Garage. So shout out to Hank for putting it on the old TV there.
Yeah, it's cool to hear some folks watching from home and everything. The different friends and family of all the racers and the series in general is. But now we're going back to green, and this is an interesting restart right here. As I don't think everyone's sorted out here on this inside and outside line, but I think we're getting going anyways. Austin Belky and Ryan Libby. Belky is going to get out front, and I don't know if we had any contact there further back. Scott McDonald's missing a hood right now as we take a look at the blimp view right now. And John Peters, as we see there in the back, 09, using the outside line to try to make up some ground. Up front, though, look at Brandon Uhouse, now up to the 2nd spot in the number 3. Furthest up he's been so far. He's had a pretty good season. Currently sitting 10th in points. With a pole and a top 5 finish, and he's doing a good job here in the number 3 car, a veteran of this particular series, doing a good job running in the 2nd spot. He's got Ryan Libby on his back bumper, Kenny Kibbe right there in 4th, and how about Dylan Kopech running in 5th?
Having himself a run there in that 16 car, former leader and pole sitter, 99 car, Adadio right in behind him, Ryan Messer there as well. A little bit of a wonky restart, but it looks like we got it all sorted out. Everybody's got fresh tires. Everybody's doing battle here for 10 more laps here at Nashville Super Speedway. And man, oh man, you can see just how much quicker these guys get around this racetrack with those fresh rubbers.
Yeah, and we're going to be inside 10 laps to go here now. And Kenny Kibbe has really turned up the wick. He's gotten up the 3rd spot. He's all over the back of Brandon Uhouse now for the 2nd position. And if he continues to pick up spots and Steven Daddio's having trouble still with the 5th place car, Dylan Kopech, that's not going to be good for the 99 to get back up there and challenge for the lead. So right now, Daddio trying to find any way by Kopech, and I think he finally is going to this time by. But as he does that, Kenny Kibbe takes 2nd spot from Brandon Uhouse. And here we see further back Brent Roy, Evan Boyer, all trying to make their way through. They haven't been able to at as fast of a pace as John Peters in front of them in 8th spot. Brent Roy now takes the 9th position. They're going to try to come back up there. And what these drivers are probably hoping for is another late yellow. So then they can bunch things back up and they can move up a few more positions, because I don't think they're going to have a good shot at the victory or maybe even a podium if we continue under green for these last 8 laps.
Kyle Casagrande off track, off the racing groove, tearing up the landscaping in that 7 car, going to call for the tow truck. We stay clean and green. Coming up to the stripe here, 7 laps to go for Austin Belke in that 24 car. He's got the 4 in behind him with Kibbe. Uhouse slides on back to 3rd. Daddio and Libby the top 5.
Got our 3rd caution coming out. So some of these drivers that were trying to make up some ground. Ooh, big contact there after the yellow between Jared Adams and Matt Shanoski. I don't know what exactly brought out the yellow, though, if that involved those competitors or if something else had occurred. As let's take a look at the U-House Racing Designs replay.
It almost looks like the 43 car had himself an issue, came back up on track. But we'll take a look. U-House Racing Design instant replay. Focus in on that 43 car. Comes off of turn 4. Everything looks good. There is Marhefka down on the bottom side. We'll go back to that. There is the contact between Lewandowski and the 43. That is a big hit for both of those drivers. We'll back up to tapes here because we can do that here in the internet world. And it looks like there was contact between the 01 and the 10. The 22 there involved as well. 01 slides up just a little bit. 22 up into the outside wall. There you see Ryan Salvatore. So there's like 3 incidents that brought out this caution flag. There's the 10 and the 01
a few different
incident.
things.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that contact between the 01 and the 43 get that throttle hung wide open on the 43 of Adams, and that caused the ensuing contact with Matt Shanoski afterwards. So, wow, a lot to take in there on that particular incident, as there's the start of it, was Devin Marhefka and Ryan Salvatore, and like you said before, Charles Lewandowski and Glessner further up ahead. Some cars coming down now with damage. Matt Shanoski. Regan Parent coming in the 17. Interesting there. We didn't see him make up very many spots during that restart, and he has a lot of ground to make up to keep up with Kenny Kibbe, your current point leader, who rides in the 2nd spot. But right now it's a Michigan 1-2. Austin Belke and Kenny Kibbe running in those top 2 spots. Great strategy by Belke staying out on the track and keeping that car clean, as right now he was able to kind of do that. You usually call it short pitting, but he didn't pit at all there until that 2nd yellow came out. So and now he's right here battling for the top spot. So Austin Belke doing a great job there in the number 24, currently 12th in points. Going over to the all-time stats, I believe, Austin Belke is still looking for his first win on a speedway, at least on the 1 of the 2 mile racetracks. So, and I believe it could be his looking for his first win overall. But now he's going to have Kenny Kibbe on the front row with him. That's going to be tough for a tough driver to hold off.
And as you can see, lined up single file all the way around the racetrack. Lights still on top of the iRacing pace car. Got a few moments. Shoot on over to Vidane.net. It is cold, cold, cold outside. It's raining here in southern Connecticut. So definitely shoot over to Vidane.net. Get yourself a hooded sweatshirt, nice coffee cup. We got hats. We got all sorts of stuff. Vidane TV, Rent a Race Car, Angry Tree Guy, Visual Pollution, all sorts of different brands over in the Vidane.net virtual merchandise hauler. Be sure to use that promo code LIBERTY at checkout. Get you 10% off that final cost.
There. And right now it's a little rainy here, a little overcast, but a little warmer. So here in North Carolina, so between us, you have a couple different styles of apparel to pick from.
Yeah, and if you're even further on south, it's real warm. We got tank tops too, so we don't just limit it to the winter clothes. Definitely be sure to check all that stuff out.
Very cool, and we're going to get ready to go. Actually, I think we'll have a 1 lap till green next time by. So I think we're going to see a green-white checker finish here, and we'll see if it ends up being the first green-white checker finish or the only green-white checker finish. competitors are going to be getting a little aggressive here as we get down to the end of this. The outside row, though, is the one I want to watch. Now, remember, Belke is the one that has to lead the field to the green flag. So you can't jump that restart or anything if you're Kenny Kibbe or Stephen Daddio there on the outside. But that's going to be very interesting seeing Kibbe and Daddio on the outside of the front two rows. But Austin Belke and Brandon Newhouse are going to try with all their might to hold those two hungry drivers that were dominant earlier on in this race, try to hold them back.
And it's been a little bit since these drivers have, in fact, come down pit road, but everybody on equal tires up in the front. Don't have to worry about tires, don't have to worry about fuel or any of that. You just have to worry about knocking out a couple of quick laps and trying to come home with that checkered flag. There you see Belke's going to elect to choose the bottom side. Kibbe up on the high side. Newhouse, Daddio, Libby, the top five. Kopech right on the outside, looking in there in sixth. Ryan Messer, John Peters, Brent Roy, and Scott McDonald, the top 10 as they run that pace car. He's going to go down pit road, grab himself a corn dog and ice cold Coke, and he is going to watch the rest of this race right here live on Vidane TV as it unfolds. We wait for Barney in the flag stand. He says go. Kibbe doesn't go. Belke gets a great restart. Misses a gear, it looks like, in the 4 car. Jacks up the high side. This is going to be interesting.
Definitely going to be interesting now because Kibbe's going to have some ground to make up because he's still fighting for second with Brandon Newhouse. And because that outside line didn't get going, Daddio has Ryan Libby, Ryan Messer, and a few others that are challenging him now to even stay in the top 5. Brandon Newhouse fighting with that 4 of Kenny Kibbe to stay in the second spot and stay on the podium. But Austin Belke is going to come around to take the white flag. Some competitors jostling there on the front stretch, but everyone's staying clean for the time being. No major contact or anything like that. Messer tries to stay off the 99, and we got trouble behind, though. Brent Roy and Dylan Kopech. But I think we might stay green because that is behind the leaders. Austin Belke pulling away in the number 24, and I think he's going to come around to take his first NEP checkered flag, and it's going to be a photo finish for the second spot as Kenny Kibbe edges Brandon Newhouse for the position. Ryan Libby gets into the wall after the checkered flag, but holds on to fourth, and Stephen Daddio rounds out the top 5.
One heck of a dogfight for that second position. It goes to Kibbe, like you said. Newhouse going to come home in third, but they are all behind the 24 car of Austin Belke, coming home with the victory here at Nashville Super Speedway. That was one heck of an exciting finish.
Oh my, I'm out of breath. See the rundown right now. We've mentioned the top 5. Ryan Messer finishes 6th. Reggie Parent recovering. We saw him come down pit road that last yellow, but he recovers for a 7th place result. We only had 16 cars on the lead lap in the end. But Evan Bollier salvages the top 10. Dale Glessner 9th. John Peters rounds out the top 10 after a win last week. And wow, I'm sure our front runners are going to have a lot to say.
100%. We're not even going to give this guy an opportunity to get down to victory lane. We're going to talk to him while he's doing his burnouts. Austin Belke, 24 car. I believe, is this your first NEP career victory?
On the ovals, yes, sir.
On the ovals, that counts. It's a category. Congratulations, man. Solid win. Awesome race all the way through. 10 spots gained from where you qualified. What's going through your mind right now?
That was just crazy. I can't believe the amount of luck I had, first off, avoiding Libby there when he got spun, I think, by Keith, just a coming together. And then I couldn't believe how I lucked out where the pace car was way up the track. I could just kind of accelerate, go down pit road, and be the only person down there when I was. And I didn't even have to nail the pit stop to come out with the lead. And from there, it's just got to thank the clean air gods.
Thank you, the clean air gods, indeed. Still burning the tires down. Watching it in slow motion. Always love to watch the burnouts in slow motion. So picking up a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a unique track here with Nashville Super Speedway. Good points night as well. And man, it's going to be interesting to see how we get down throughout the rest of the season. Could break into the top 10 here in the championship. Looks like missing a race earlier on in the season, but man, this has got to be good heading into next week.
Oh yeah, my smart TV didn't want to be a TV for a hot minute, so I missed out on home Instead, I was helping my dad do some stuff back at the homestead. So when I got back to my house, didn't quite have the time to hop on the sim. But yeah, big boost of momentum going in the last kind of third leg of the season here, and hopefully we can break into the top 10. But we're just here to have fun, man.
And no better way to have fun than parking that car down in victory lane. We know you don't do it alone. Who helps you out on the virtual 24 car?
Well, first off, I got to thank the good Lord, my parents, my wonderful girlfriend, Jacqueline, my team, Four Wide Weaponry, my other team, Different Path Motorsports, all the boys back at the shop, Corey Zane for putting this thing on. You guys are broadcasting this. And how about a shout out to the Marhefkas? They sponsored this race. So big thank you to them. And thanks to Kenny. He always helps me a lot when we get in here. So got a lot of people to thank and just very thankful today.
Warren, Michigan's own Austin Belke coming home with a victory. First one on an oval here in the NEP series. Congratulations, Austin.
Thank you, sir.
And a little bit further on down pit road, Aaron, you've caught up with the second place driver, Kenny Kibbe, in the 4 car.
Yeah, probably I would be waging to say that it's kind of bittersweet to come home second in this one, especially after having such a good car early on and kind of take us through that last restart.
Yeah, I mean it was a good day overall, but yeah, just on that restart, I heard Austin's car. Well, I saw it go forward a little bit on the start, so I burped the gas, and then it ended up being like bad timing. He actually wasn't going; he was actually getting pushed from behind, and then he fired off. So it really messed up the timing on that start, and I hate it for us and for the 99 car too. It kind of messed us up there, but we both recovered, and getting second to Austin, he's probably about the first guy that I would like to lose to. So cool for him to get a win. We got Michiganders 1-2, Four Wide Weaponry got first, second, and fifth. So great points day for all of us, and I'll be okay with coming home second today.
I think that's your first. I think that's our first 1-2 for Michigan in NEP history. But it didn't look like you might even get second there at the end. Brandon Uhouse was fighting you for that position on that last lap. That must have been fun keeping it clean with him.
Yeah, it was. Got a little bit scary off of 4 on the last lap. He kind of used me up a little bit, but we kept her straight and brought it home and got away with it. Usually, Brandon's pretty nice to race with, so knew it was going to be a hard fight, but glad we were able to come home on top on that one.
And a good points day once again. Reggie Parent, he recovered to a 7th place finish, but you pull a little further ahead in the points. We still got quite a few races to go. Are you thinking points just yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've been definitely thinking points, and we didn't get a pole this week, but we did lead a few laps and got a good finish. And I don't think Reagan led a lap, and he didn't finish as well as us either. And next week we're headed to a road course, which is going to be my bread and butter. So I have high expectations there. So things are definitely looking up, and we extended the point lead just a little bit. And yeah, I think we're going to force these guys below us in the points to start acting if they want to catch us.
Going in with a lot of confidence and momentum into the next one. Once again, who helps you get it done here at the virtual racetrack?
Well, I'd just like to thank everybody at Four Wide Weaponry for just being awesome teammates and just having really good runs. Congratulations to Austin again on the win, and for Sal for keeping us all together there as teammates every week, and you guys at Virtual Grip Network for the broadcasts. Everybody at NEP, Shift Marking and Design, Corey and Zane for letting us Midwesterners come in and crash the party once in a while, and just fun time tonight.
Right, that 2nd place finisher, Kenny Kibbe, and I believe you got the 3rd place finisher further down pit road, Paul.
Indeed, we do. One of the biggest movers of the race and the sponsor of Uhouse Race Design's Instant Replay here at Vidane TV. Brandon Uhouse taking that 3 car to the 3rd position. 14 spots gained on the night, Brandon. Great race, solid finish, crazy finish. Little side-by-side dogfight for that 2nd spot coming to the checkered.
Yep, definitely tried to use up Kibbe because I know he can handle it, and I have a good respect for him. Shout out to Austin. Way to park it tonight. That's awesome. Big mover tonight. 17th to 3rd. I had no business being where I was, but I will definitely take this finish.
100%. A little bit of a unique racetrack here that we've talked about. We see Super Speedway in the name, and we see Super Speedway in the schedule. Listen to a lot of the drivers here in practice kind of heard this place get compared to a big Martinsville. How did this track kind of handle as the race went down?
Honestly, I had better long run speed than I did short run speed. I don't know. I think just using the brakes, rolling the corners, just really helped us out here. I wouldn't say it's more of a Martinsville, but it felt like a Martinsville because you just had to be sucked to the bottom. So that was my perspective on it.
And heading on out to the road course next week here. But, man, solid run here tonight. Podium finish for the 3-car. Who gets it done for you? Who helps you out with that virtual number 3?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely want to shout out the number one CEO of YRD, my wife Valerie. She lets me come in here, do my thing, and race on Thursday nights with the boys. So appreciate her. Family, friends, obviously watching. Everybody here at NEP and Vidane, you guys put on a great show every week. Zane and Corey allow us to race every week, so that's awesome. My Blumpkin bros, we hang it down, and that's about it. That's all I got.
Awesome, and a solid run here tonight. P3 for the 3-car. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
That's going to wrap things up here for us tonight. NEP in at Nashville Super Speedway. Welcome to Nashville, y'all. 65 in the books. Austin Belke coming home with that first OFL victory in the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. Man, oh man. And don't forget, starting tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, the iRacing 24 Hours race. NEP has 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 team cars that are going to be entered into that. Shoot on over to the NEP Facebook page. Shoot on over to the NEP Twitter page. Get all the information on how you can follow along, where your favorite drivers, and your favorite teams are going to be running in that iRacing official 24-hour event. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm not going to enter it. I am a terrible driver, but it's going to be awesome to see some of these NEP guys do battle on the road course. That's going to do it here for us for tonight. For Vidane TV, everybody here at the NEP Network, I'm Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. Alongside me, as always, on a Thursday night, Ron, Aaron Creed. We will catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live.